Man, welcome back to the Fake Stuff Podcast. We are back at it again, doing what we do, and let's talk about the fake stuff. As always, Craftman is in the building. What's going on, Craftman?
Oh man, ready to get back to talking some football. Been on a cruise for the past 4 or 5 days. Got burnt to a crisp. Been hanging out on the beach, so I'm coming in refreshed and ready to talk about it. Kind of been away from technology too for the past week, so I ain't seen nothing. Everybody was texting me about the George Pickens trade, and
Ooh,
I was like, man, that's kind of crazy, but I did
hey,
have ESPN, so I actually seen that when it happened. So I was like, y'all late, man. Y'all late. I
hey,
already seen it.
we might as well go ahead and comment on it, Craftman. What do we think about the George Pickens trade?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this before, did we?
Nope,
We haven't
haven't.
brought
Not
it up at all.
so. Yeah, for those who don't know, George Pickens just traded to the Dallas Cowboys. I think it was like for a third and a fifth round pick, but fantasy football wise, what does it mean, Craftman?
I like it more for Dak, than I do Pickens. I think Pickens will probably be the same kind of caliber player. I mean, it helps to have CD over there taking the defense away from you. So he should, still go out there and make his contested catches and, put up highlight reel catches and he'll score more touchdowns. He only had like 3 touchdowns last year. So I think it'll probably be a little bit better with
Yeah,
Dallas than it was over there with Russ and Justin Fields.
I agree. Here's what I was really thinking about George Pickens. His stock is way lower than like this time last year, but then I feel like now his stock is a little bit higher than it was, you know, 2 months ago. And right, you know what I'm saying, when he was at Pittsburgh, because they had brought DK in. It looked like they was gonna make DK the guy because they just signed him for whatever 40 million a year or whatever for 4 years or whatever the deal was, but fantasy football wise, I think it puts George Pickens kind of back in play a little bit. This, coming into it this year, I was like, holy shit, I don't really feel good about George Pickens at all. He was a wide receiver 43 last year, and he was the guy last year in Pittsburgh. Now he's like taking a lesser role. I just think it's a little bit better than what it was a couple months ago, but his stock has fallen off a lot since last season.
Does this it doesn't fix a contract problem though? He's going into his last year in his contract. Like he was talking about that with Pittsburgh. He didn't get new money from Dallas, did he? I think it was just a third and fifth, and then they'll have to figure out the contract after this year. So this could just be a 1 year stint with Dallas
Yeah.
for dynasty purposes.
True. All right. Well, shoot, man. Listen, tonight's episode, we're going to dive right into a Dynasty startup mock draft, but we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to do it from the 1 year punt side of things. But before we move on, listen, don't be a hoe. Share the show. That's all we ask. Just share the show. We're playing fantasy football, talking it, doing a lot of good stuff. If you want to play fantasy football with us, Dynasty Startup, we got a league about halfway filled if you want to play with us. Come play fantasy football with us. A lot of guys who haven't played before are getting involved, so that's what we're trying to do. But check us out on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can listen to a podcast, YouTube. Craftman, would you like to add anything to it?
Looks like you covered it. I mean, I don't have a Twitter handle. I still haven't got back in them Twitter streets since a couple years back. Just
Hey,
couldn't. I got addicted. I was like looking at my phone. I was like, I got to get rid of this thing. I can't do the social media. It's too much. Takes
hey,
too much time away from my life.
it's just one of them things. Like I feel like most of our audience ain't even on them streets like that. So just let me get up in them streets, and I'll just tell y'all what's going on. Cause
Yes.
social media fucking sucks. So, all right, drafted for a 1 year punt, startup, dynasty, mock draft, super flex, tight end premium, PPR. The tight end premium is 1.5. So, for those who don't know, if a wide receiver catches a ball, that's 1 point. If a tight end catches it, it's 1.5. 12 teams. Crap, man. Anything else, I try to be as descriptive as possible. Is there anything I needed to add to that?
Nah, we've never done an episode like this, so this is the first time we're getting into something like this, and this is not. I know there's a reason why people draft like this. It it can be a good strategy. It's not the strategy that I like to do, but we'll see. Like I said, I've never
Yeah,
done it, so I might end up liking my team a lot by the end of this thing. And I hope I don't, because I don't want to start thinking about
right.
it when I do my next startup.
Man, for those who don't know, like if you're new to Dynasty and you're playing and you're doing a startup draft, there's like a few directions you could take a startup draft. And a lot of the guys we play, well, I'll put it like this: a lot of the guys that Craft Man and he plays with, a lot of them guys like to let's go get veterans, let's go get players that can help us win now. Let's go get that money this year, next year type deal. There's also strategies where people go straight up rebuild, Craft Man. We're talking about not a 1 year punt. I'm talking about a 2 year, a 3 year process. But then there's also people that do a 1 year punt. And for those who don't know, and I ain't said this on the podcast in a while, me and Craft Man really ain't with that tanking shit like that. I've seen players in recent years do these 1 year punts where I've actually done a 1 year punt now. And I actually like where my team looks this year. So you could convince me on a 1 year punt. And I honestly feel like when you're in these dynasty leagues for a lot of years, a 1 year punt is in your future at some point. I don't think you have to do a full rebuild, but I think a 1 year punt would be in your future, especially if you've been going for it a lot of years. So, Craftman, anything you want to add to that side of things?
Yeah, if I can't get these 26 first that I got traded away for some vets, then I might be looking at that same scenario. But I think I'll be able to move them. But like you said me and my friends like to do. We all kind of like to go for it, but you just got to know what kind of league you're playing in, and not everybody can do that. If everybody's trying to go old and trying to win now, drafting a bunch of veterans, like they're leaving a lot of value out there for you. So, and that's one thing that I've definitely noticed in all my dynasty leagues. It doesn't matter if you won with your team the first year drafting very heavy veteran and older. It there always comes a point where the value of the younger guys is way much higher than the Mike Evans of the world.
One thing I was gonna say is that we like to, because when you doing these rebuilds, like some of these people, they're losing a lot of games. Definitely, they're straight up tanking. Uh, but now after I see some of these teams after a couple of years of rebuilding, I'm thinking, golly, that some of these teams are loaded with young talent. So I don't know, man. Like maybe you convince me on maybe in one league you could convince me on a full out rebuild, but uh, I don't know, crap, man. I'm pretty much with you. You can catch me in between. I'm in the middle. Like I like the 1 year punt. I can deal with the 1 year punt. Can't really deal with a multiple year rebuild like that.
Not right, not starting off the bat, but shoot, Matt, let's get into it. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead and claim a spot on that mock draft. I'll go ahead and start it on up.
I should be in the six.
Dang, are you in the six?
I'm in the six.
Man, I don't see you in mine, but it don't matter. I think we've done this before and it worked out. Anyways, me and Crabman, we're gonna start a 1 year punt from the sixth spot, and to start off the draft, so super flex, so quarterbacks are always off the board. Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and here we are at the 106 Craftman. So basically, at the 106 in your drafts, me and the Craftman are staring down Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Brock Bowers, Patty Mahomes, Bijan. Craftman, what would you think for a 1 year punt? I think no matter what, I think I would say Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I think
follow.
it's. It, I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna say it's between Hurts, Jefferson, and Brock Bowers, but you're not gonna catch me drafting a tight end in
No.
at the 106. I know it's popular to do his ADP is at the 8 spot, so it wouldn't be reaching much. But let's go JJ, man. We both agree
Yep,
on it.
I'm with you. Both agree. We're gonna start off with Justin Jefferson. All right. So then, like guys, we just said Brock Bowers, Patty Mahomes, Hurts, Gibbs, Neighbors, Bijan to round off the first round picks. You know, in these little 1 year punts, I wouldn't mind maybe snagging one of those if we were in the back half of that first round, getting somebody like a Jameer Gibbs or a Bijan to start it off with. And you know me, I don't really like doing running. I don't really draft running backs like that up high like that, but some of those real talented guys right there. But Craftman back at the 206. So guys off the board like Drake May just went. Genty, Amon Ra, Puka at the 203. Brian Thomas, some of the big name wide receivers went off at the second in the second round. But Craftman, we at the 206, and we're staring guys like Herbert, McBride, Nico, Caleb Williams, Stroud, Barkley.
Oh man,
Tough, man. It's tough. We're trying to do this 1 year punt, but golly, it's like.
I know it's hard to Saquon right there. You got a Marion Hampton. That's a popular pick. His ADP's somewhere around here, the 26th. But you got. I'm thinking Drake London actually, Matt, or McBride. I look at Bowers and McBride as like, if you got them two, you're way ahead of the game, and we don't have to worry about a tight end later. The quarterbacks, I'm not really with it. I don't think unless you want to go Stroud.
Yeah, that would be my top two picks would have been Stroud and McBride right here. Personally, I do like Drake London, but we just went Justin Jefferson, so I feel like we can afford to slide on the wide receiver a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you. I would say Stroud and McBride, but what do you think?
Let's go Stroud.
All
Let's
right,
go Stroud.
We're gonna lock up that quarterback real quick. And Stroud, listen, that was a good. I feel like we got a really good value on Stroud right there because me and Crapman was just in the start of last season together, and we saw Stroud go at the 101. So me and the Crapman just picked him up at the 207. So we just started off with Justin Jefferson and C.J. Stroud. Let's see, guys like Justin Herbert, Saquon off the board, Caleb Williams.
What do you think about Mahomes in the first? Do you think he even belongs in the first anymore? Or you think players like C.J. Stroud should go over him? Have you given up on Mahomes being like this fantasy, just win your league type quarterback, even though he's still kind of young?
Yeah, I did see Mahomes was going into the back half of the. He went at the 108 in this little mock draft right here. So I'm gonna be real. I hate to say it, Craftman. I know Mahomes is stable and everything for your dynasty leagues, but I would have taken Hurts ahead of him. And oh man, I mean, I just see all these guys going in the second round. It's just like the upside is way higher because as stable as Patrick Mahomes is as a dynasty asset, it's like, man, I feel like I want to reach for a higher upside, even in superflex leagues, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't draft Mahomes in the first. I think him and Stroud should probably be ranked closer together at this point because Mahomes is just the way that offense is running. It just don't seem like it's real beneficial for him to be throwing up fantasy points like he used to. But things like that might change. But where we looking here, we got Bo Nix, Cam Ward. I don't want Cam Ward, even though this is a 1 year punt.
Yeah, I think even in a 1 year punt, I feel like I might would go Bo Nix right here.
It's just he's an old rookie, but still. And then we got Ladd. I love Ladd, but that's pretty high for him, isn't it?
I agree. I mean, he's going ahead of guys like Garrett Wilson, Tet McMillan, JSN. See, my thing is, I feel like in our little 1 year punt, I feel like Tet McMillan's got to be in the conversation. But I know you don't like Tet McMillan, so or not that you don't like Tet McMillan, you don't like the Panthers.
I would take McConkey over McMillan for sure. I've already seen that he can do it. I mean, you would be ecstatic if Tet McMillan had the year that Ladd had last year. You'd feel like that was a great first season. So
yeah. No,
why would you do that? I'm thinking Bo Nix, though.
I am too. Bo Nix. So me and Craftman, we started off with Justin Jefferson, C.J. Stroud, Bo Nix, and we're doing a 1 year punt. But let's just be real, man. We balling, shot calling. Like we could definitely win that thing from the top.
Team. So, it's a good team.
But yeah, all them guys. So Craftman, he said he wanted to pass on Cam Ward. I feel like that was one. I wasn't saying I would have picked him. I would have clearly taken Bo Nix over, but. I'm just saying he was the 101 in the draft pick. I think people should be talking about it a little bit more. I feel like Cam Ward might be a little bit better than what people think. Our guys like Travion Henderson off the board and Bucky Irvin just went off the board right ahead of us. So basically, we're looking at guys like Kyler Murray, which I think is a good value still. You always know I'm on that Kyler Murray value, but we already got two quarterbacks, so we're going to be passing on that. But So Jonathan Taylor's up there. I'm just out on Jonathan Taylor. Period. I think he's been one of the most overrated dynasty assets. Period. Except for he kicked my ass in the damn end of last season. But I'm looking at guys like Judkins right here. Since we're 1 year punting, something like that.
A Dunze.
A Dunze. I mean, golly, Kraft, man. You know, if we was really had a team like this, I'm probably going something like, I mean, Kyron Williams right there.
I know we're not doing it. We can't do it.
Oh,
We can't do
man.
it, Matt. We got to stick. We got to stay. We got to stay young. We got to
Yeah.
think. We got to think differently. So
All right. So,
yeah,
okay. Well, look, Kraft, man. I'm gonna be real. I lean to Dunze, but I'm higher on a Dunze than a lot of people are. So you're gonna have to check me on that one. I don't mind going Judkins right here, neither though. Running back in the 4th round. I think it'll take a little bit for the Browns to get it rolling, anyways. With Judkins, I feel like you could be a little patient with him, but he would be our RB1. But
well,
where you want? What you think, Kraft, man?
like going off tiers. You got the wide receivers. You got if we did miss on a Dunze, we drafted Judkins. It'd come back and we'd probably maybe have a shot at a Dunze. Devontae Smith, we can go ahead and skip over Chris Olave. He has no business being up here. And then maybe Xavier Worthy if we went Judkins here. So, and then if we went wide receiver, we'd be looking at the vets at running back. Let's go wide receiver because I don't know about you. I don't see that much difference between Judkins and Caleb Johnson. And Caleb Johnson will definitely make it back.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's roll with that one. So, me and the Kraft,
Go by
man,
Dunze.
we've started off going Justin Jefferson, C.J. Stroud, Bo Nix, and Rome Odunze. And I feel like Rome Odunze is it's an upside pick too. But you really want Rome Odunze you really want him to be what we think he's gonna be, and you pair him up with Justin Jefferson, and then you stacked on with it. Yep. All right, we're gonna slide on. We keep it moving, Kraft, man. I could name
We're
out all
moving
these
quick.
picks, but back to us. We're gonna be picking at the 5-6. I'm really just looking at some of these values on these quarterbacks in these superflex drafts. Kraft, man, I said something about Kyler Murray at the 410, Jared Goff at the 412, Baker at the 5-3, Penix at the 5-5. I'm just kind of getting into, I don't know what this offseason, it's just kind of been one of those years where this one is like the quarterbacks at this point in time. I'm just always looking at these prices on these quarterbacks right now, and they just all seem low. Rookie drafts, super flex drafts, you name it. I mean, Baker Mayfield at the 5-3 after that year he just had last year. And they went out there and got him some more weapons. I mean, if I was doing a startup today, I think I would take the approach like me and the Kraft man did just last year and maybe hold off on the quarterback for a little bit and maybe see if I can get one of these good quarterbacks with greater value. What do you think about that comment, Kraft man?
If Michael Penix would have fell one more spot to us, we would have had to think about getting our third quarterback.
Right.
If he would have fell right there. But you know me, I'm sitting here looking at running backs, like looking at the steals. I see Travion in the 4th. I remember our startup when Jahmyr Gibbs was a rookie. I got him in the 4th. So that was definitely a steal on that end. So if Travion Henderson is anywhere close to that, then you got Bucky there in the 4th too. JT, Kyron's going to be just fine. James Cook in the 5th. So it's not a bad idea if you're not doing this 1-year punt to wait on running backs. You can still end up with two really good ones here in the 4th and 5th round. But that's not the way we're rolling tonight. We're staying young. We don't like old. If you're over 25 years old, we don't want you on our team.
Yeah. So I'm looking down for all these youngins. And, let's see, Kraft, man. I was wanting to try to build our honestly, like I would probably, if I'm looking at the board right now, there's Trevor Lawrence, there's J.J. McCarthy, guys like that, Josh Jacobs, CMC, all the way in the 5th round. Dak Prescott, Devontae, but Chase Brown. I mean, Chase Brown's right there, Kraft, man.
My guy.
Even Kenneth Walker's right there. So I mean, there's just a lot of directions. I mean, if you go a little bit further, you can go to Addison and Egbuka. I think those are guys that'll be around in the next round. So I feel like we can wait on guys like that. So honestly, Craftman, I would be
It's
thinking young. If to stay young, it's gonna have to be Xavier Worthy or Chase Brown. Cause
or
I ain't
Caleb
touching Chris
Johnson.
Olave. Man, you know I'm all in for Caleb Johnson. I mean,
You
he's
want to
been
wait?
my
You want to wait around for him? You want to wait
yeah
around for Caleb and get a receiver,
yeah. I say we
Xavier Worthy?
Xavier Worthy or Zay Flowers, but I think I lean Xavier Worthy.
I'm with you on that. Let's shoot for the
I mean,
upside with Worthy.
what do we think
You
about
don't you
Zay
don't want
Flowers? I
Tyler
made a
Warren?
joke.
You don't want Tyler
Nah,
Warren?
man, I'm good. I think I'm good on Tyler Warner. What do you think about Zay Flowers though, Kraft man? Because I have just cracked a joke. Uh, this one team in my home league, my most important league, he's competing this year, but his wide receiver one is Zay Flowers, and I was like, dude, he finished wide receiver 25 last year, man. That joke was a wide receiver three. I'm just wondering what we even think about Zay Flowers. Like, I feel like I might be a little bit lower on him now. Last year I had some higher expectations, but I just said I would take Xavier. Who did we say? Xavier Worthy over Zay Flowers. I feel like that's not something me and you would have said. I
Last
mean,
year,
Chris Shira would have said it. C. Swizzy would have said it. I'll give Chris credit, but me and you wouldn't have said that.
it wouldn't have never made it this far because Lad McConkey would have been on my team rounds ago. But when it comes down to Worthy and Flowers, like you asked me about Flowers, I think he's pretty much doing what you expect out of him with Baltimore. They're a run first team. They kind of toss it all over the yard to different guys. I mean, you got Nelson Aguilar out there having big games and shit. So he's a really good player that is just in an offense where Lamar doesn't really. When was the last time Lamar supported a top 10 wide receiver? I know, Hollywood was over there and had a good little stretch for a while, but it's been a while since the Ravens have had a wide receiver one for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
Why would you?
All
You
right,
got
so
Derrick Henry back there still.
and you got
So
Lamar, and you're doing your thing. So they got a formula that works. So it works in real football. It might not work for you in fake football. But all right, so it sounds like me and you are leaning Xavier Worthy to do this. What you call it?
let's do it.
Five,
Let's pick
five,
Xavier Worthy,
six.
not Chris Olave. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Olave, but
Yeah, a
you
lot
can't be
of
on my team.
off my board. You have to be real low for me to get you. All
I'm
right,
not.
crap man.
I want
Oh,
to
go
say
ahead.
something about Olave. I'm not putting it. I'm not putting it out there that he doesn't have a good year this year. I could definitely see a world where Chris Olave finishes as a top 24 wide receiver. But I mean, if you're drafting for a 1 year punt, even though he's young, with the concussion issues, you might as well just get you some points in your lineup for sure because he's not a for sure thing at all at this point. So he's more of a speculation type player for me because of the issues that he had.
I mean, a lot of guys that he's going in front of, like Zay Flowers, he's going ahead of Egbuka, Devontae Smith, DJ Moore. I mean, we're talking about some pretty good players that you can put
Jordan
in your
Addison.
lineup. Jordan Addison. I mean, we're talking about some pretty good players you can put in your lineup. Crap, man, I want to make a comment on how we built our team so far. 3 wide receivers and got our 2 quarterbacks. And I want to say this is kind of one strategy I like to use whenever we build our dynasty teams because I like to get these wide receivers because I do buy into the longevity. Wide receivers have a little bit more longevity than these running backs do. Some of these running backs can fall off a cliff, and if you invest a lot in them, it could really hurt you. So I like to do the wide receivers, just to establish the core of your team, and obviously with quarterbacks. But right here, we looking at running back, and you already know what I want to do. I want to go Caleb Johnson, crap man. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm pretty much high on Caleb Johnson. It kind of just I liked him when we was breaking it down the film, but it kind of got to the point where I was drafting. Me and you hadn't even talked about this. I did my while you was on vacation. We did our rookie draft for the home league, and I said I was sitting there at the 105 and the 106, and I was trying to make some moves, but I couldn't really get nothing done. And then I was like, I'm gonna make my picks, and I'm gonna go get my guy. So I took Travis Hunter fell to the 105. I took Travis Hunter, and then at the 106, I took Caleb Johnson. I took him over. The big name was Judkins. I took Caleb Johnson over Judkins, and I felt like that was like people were surprised that I did that. I just think people need to realize, and I said it in that little last episode. It was a solo episode. You and Ian always talk about you want the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if you look it up, the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers has had over 240 touches for like the last 3 or 4 years, and that was Najee Harris. And I think Caleb Johnson is going to be a little bit better. One cut and go. I just think this is perfect. Match made in heaven. This is one of those running backs where I can get him at the cost where I like him, and I feel like it's going to pay off. Like, we're talking about starting production. I mean, Jalen Warren's going to take some passing work. I mean, that's all we're worried about pretty much. I'm not really that worried about it.
It'll probably, the first year will most likely be somewhere around like a 50-50 split with Jalen Warren. I think Jalen Warren definitely has some value in your, especially in redraft this year, in your later rounds, because he's gonna get some work. But yeah, you don't have to talk me into this one. I wouldn't mind if RJ Harvey made it back to us and we could double tap these rookie running backs, but we'll go ahead and pick Caleb Johnson right here. And as always, Matt, we're skipping over the tight ends. We're not even looking. Colston Loveland was there. I'm sure a lot of people would, especially in a premium, would love to have him. Tyler Warren ain't. I'm surprised he hasn't gone yet. He just did, and Hawkinson went after. So we are looking at Colston Loveland if you want to stay young at tight end. After him, you got Kittle, which we're not going to do. Yeah. I would ask you though, if we weren't doing this draft, it was our normal Dynasty league, would you take George Kittle, or would you take here in the 7th round, would you take Kittle, or would you take one of these rookie tight ends? Because that one, that's a hard decision.
I think it's a hard decision, but I think for me, it's not debatable. If I know I'm gonna be, even if I have a thought I'm gonna be competing, I'm definitely taking George Kittle, because I don't really care about these tight ends to the point where it's like even Travis Kelce. Like, I bash on Travis Kelce all the time. Like, I got him in my home league. It sucks to have him sometimes because I can't get rid of him. But it's like, dude, I'll take Travis Kelce over so many other tight ends of what these other guys are dealing with. So that's how I feel about George Kittle. This could be his last season. I'd probably take him and fill him in for a season. You know what I mean? So it's not really that debatable for me.
Yeah, if you drafted the team that we drafted so far, would it be in the conversation because I feel like sometimes when you're in a dynasty draft, like, there's just these picks keep falling to you, maybe some vets keep falling to you, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm going this direction instead. Like, you got to stay open to it. But I feel like you could still take Kittle here with the team that we drafted and be like, I could still win with this team. It doesn't necessarily mean that for the rest of the draft I got to go vets. Like, you can mix it up.
Yeah. Another thing is I just don't 100% know what it's going to be like for Loveland. Apparently they're going to be at that 12 personnel craft, man. A lot of 12 personnel.
We got a Doomsday too on our team, so
that's true.
And I'm not going to load up on Chicago Bears players. Like, that would be. We're drafting for a 1-year punt. We're not drafting for a 10-year punt. With a bunch of Bears guys. So,
well, in my ideal situation of a 1-year punt, I would go RJ Harvey right here. I mean, rookie running back again. I mean, we're back at it. I mean, rookie running backs, 6th and 7th round. We've already got our wide receiving room established. And in theory, this is a 1-year punt. So, because I'm going to be real crap, man. If I had this team,
You'd be happy?
I'd be like, I'm going for it all. I wouldn't care about a 1-year punt. It might be a slow start, though. You got 2 rookie running backs in there, and they could possibly be in your lineups, depending on how this draft goes. But, all right, guys like Justin Fields went down in the 8th round. Joe Mix is off the board. Kincaid, Luther Burden, guy I talked about recently. Mike Evans. So here we are at the 8-6, and we've started off our team with Justin Jefferson, C.J. Stroud, Bo Nix, Roma Dunze, Xavier Worthy, Caleb Johnson, R.J. Harvey, and we're looking for some young players. And
yeah, I do want to say something. I want to go back up to the 4th round, and this is where the vets versus the young guys come clashing heads because we took Roma Dunze there at the 4-7, and Roma Dunze's not outscoring Kyron Williams this year. He's not
No.
outscoring Jonathan Taylor this year.
Nah, I
Like,
don't know about that one.
yeah, you don't like Jonathan Taylor. But if Taylor stays healthy, Roma Dunze's not outscoring Jonathan Taylor. So, and then in the fifth, we took Xavier Worthy, you know, and missed out on a guy like Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs. Xavier Worthy's not outscoring Josh Jacobs this next year or Chase Brown. So that's where you got to make the choice of points in your lineup versus longevity. And
Yep.
I don't
Points.
feel good, Matt. I feel sick to my stomach. Looking at all them points in my lineup, not going to be there. But some people look at these teams and they just love it. Like you're loving this thing. You're eating it up.
I really am. I mean, with Justin Jefferson, I mean, I got the running backs I want. It definitely looks like a 1-year punt though. So we did what we said we was gonna do, Kraft man. Even though we stacked with Justin Jefferson.
My guy's on the board.
Yep, go ahead, man. Go ahead and take your guy down.
I want to hear your.
I don't even know who you're talking about. Are you talking about Golden or are you talking about Higgins?
Huh?
Who you talking about?
I don't know, man.
Golden?
What do you think? I don't know.
Matthew Golden. Hey, listen, I don't really think this is a bad pick personally, but
Jaden Reed's right there too. Which one?
Well, look, it's not even close. It comes down to me between Matthew Golden and Jaden Higgins before it comes down to Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed. Listen, Matthew Golden's got first-round draft capital. Like, I buy into that kind of stuff, and I do feel like the Green Bay Packers wanted to make Christian Watson the number one. That joker just can't stay healthy. So they might try to do that with Matthew Golden. My argument is I just think all these guys are the same. They're just a bunch of jokes, man. It's just like, man, how y'all get the same guy? Every one of y'all. All 8 of your wide receiver room is like just a clone of each other. One might be faster. One might be a little bit bigger, and one might have better draft capital. But in the end, it's just a Packers wide receiver. But I don't mind the pick either, Kraft man. I don't mind.
Every time I see so many comments, I know that more people side with you on this Packers wide receiver room. Just a bunch of average Joes out there running around catching passes. There's not a wide receiver one for the team, and I do have my thoughts about Golden and college production. That's my go-to for drafting players. His college production really wasn't there, but he's gonna be good for this team, man. He's gonna be good for this team. Super biased.
All right. Well, heck, we done went with our punts. So now we looking at guys like, heck, I don't even know who.
Is there another Packers receiver on here? Oh, I'm scrolling down. I'm just playing.
There's a Packers tight end.
There's a Packers tight end, Tucker Kraft. We ain't got a tight end yet.
Don't have a tight end, so that would be one guy I'd be interested in. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Kraft man. I mean, dang, Travis Etienne's right there. Good lord. Scatterboo?
What do you think?
Oh, man.
Yeah, Scatterboo or ETN, Matt, would you trade?
I never thought about them two before. You know what I'm saying?
That's the first time.
ETN or Scatterboo. Look, that's a tough one. I mean, you know how it is. Scatterboo, he ain't got draft capital, but it's like that. It's wide open for him. You know what I'm saying? And Scatterboo's a football player. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't want to bet against Scatterboo. And Travis Etienne had such a bad year last year, but the upside is way higher than Scatterboo's in my opinion. So it's like, oof. It's like that stock, man. It's like that. Scatterboo, he's the stock, and then ETN's the crypto. That dude, he's volatile as fuck. I don't know what to think about ETN. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Kraft man? I mean, we're also looking at other players like
I've already hit Kyle Pitts, so we're moving on.
I'm about to say Kyle Pitts. What do we think about him? Is this year finally the year we bury him? Hey, you know what's crazy though, Kraft man? I only say that though is because I saw a tweet the other day. Somebody in the Atlanta's office or something was talking about Kyle Pitts gonna step it up this year. He's gonna have a good year this year. So you just give up on him?
There's no way you catch him with you're not catching me with him on my team. It's he could go out and do it, but there's a couple players in fantasy where it's just like I would rather just watch you go off on somebody else's team than to be on mine. And I'm getting that way with Christian McCaffrey because I know come redraft next year, if I'm in the back of the first, I'm gonna be sitting there like. And every time I think for trading for a veteran in my dynasty leagues, I'm like McCaffrey. He always comes back. So Kyle Pitts is in that category for me, where it's like you can have your breakout year, you can be Travis Kelce for the rest of your career. You just ain't doing it with me. Damn it.
Yeah. All right. Well, shoot. I mean, listen, man. Here would be my choices right here. We got Kraft, ETN, and Scatterboo.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go with. Well, you tell me where you lean after I make my pick.
All right. I was leaning Kraft.
Were you?
Yeah, I was. Hey, but I don't mind the pick. Scatterboo is the pick. Hey, but this is our team. We got 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and we're in the 10th round.
Look at the fall off at running back, though. Look at the fall off right here after ETN and Scatterboo.
Trey Benson.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that one.
James Conner's still on the board too, so we're kind of getting to that area where we're going.
I like Aaron Jones down here.
Yeah.
If we weren't drafting like this.
A lot of good value, man. When you look at these ADPs for if you haven't been looking at them for every day of your life, like some y'all have, some of these ADPs are interesting. Even Devontae Adams down here. I mean, I know.
Not a bad deal.
We're not going that direction, but it's like, damn, he just got signed with the Rams, and he's probably going to be there at least 2 more football seasons. Think about that. 2 more football seasons of Devontae Adams, and you can get him in the 10th round. I mean, damn. All right, Kraft man. Well, what do you think?
These receivers are getting a little thin down here, so I'm glad we went ahead and got ours. If we're looking at these guys receiver wise, if we want to try to get our third quarterback, which always great to have a starter. You got Geno, you got Stafford. If you're looking to have a player you can throw in if one of your guys gets hurt, that would probably be my pick. If I would rather go like Geno or something right here. But you got Khalil Shakir if you want to do something like that. And tight end, we're looking at Isaiah Likely,
Jake Ferg. That's would be kind of where I would lean is Jake Ferg. I know we can get a third quarterback. I'm with you. You know me. I'm always on the value of quarterbacks, and I think Geno will provide some value too.
I think we should. I think. Well, you just tell me. You tell me if you like this. If we went Geno here, Geno and Stafford are really the only 2 starting quarterbacks left on here that we know are starters. If we went them, we could come back and get. I don't see much difference between Jake Ferg and Cade Otton, or even Jonnu at this point. Miami didn't. They don't have a lot of depth at tight end, so
yeah, you ain't lying. I'm with you.
You want to do that?
Yep, let's do it. All right.
Geno or Stafford?
Stafford.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, you don't want Jalen Milroe.
Nah, man. I think I'll have to pass. I can't even believe he would even be around there.
Shadur.
Nah, I'm good on that. We'll be good on them. I'm what you call it? We'll go.
We can't stay out of our own way, Matt. We can't stay out of our own way. We had to draft a vet.
I want to make a statement about one thing. At this far down in the draft, and we're doing a 1-year punt, and we've secured our running backs. I'm really trying to see what kind of value I can get, but running backs, they're going to be pretty much off my board at a certain point with some of these guys.
What do you mean?
Running back? What kind of running back would I want? All right, think about what these running backs are. Let's see, round 11. Tony Pollard, Dobbins, Najee. But even guys like James Conner, Kamara, I'm not drafting them guys.
I would.
For a 1-year punt.
No, not for a 1-year punt. No,
No way.
definitely not.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, but if heck, I would love to take James Conner in the 10th. Hell, and Trey Benson's right there too. So if you wanted them both, they right there. So yeah, oh yeah, if we going for it, dude, David Montgomery in the 8th round, like dude, there's some good ass running backs down here, like that I would definitely snag. But as far as our 1-year punt, dude, crap man, a lot of these guys are off my board, like for now, like James Conner, like he would just have to drop a lot or something. Kamara would just have to drop a lot. You know what I mean? Just with
Do
the
you
intentions of staying young and
like drafting like this? I don't mind the team at
look,
all.
I do like drafting like it. I've done it one time, and I'm about to win the championship this year. So I'm about to show y'all how a 1-year punt goes. So
Who won it last year
yeah, we're
though?
loaded.
Who won?
Hey, but not for after a 1-year punt.
No, I didn't do it after a 1-year punt, but that money sure did look good in my account. I
Well, see,
did
crap,
like it
man,
there.
this is where we're sitting at the 11-6, and this is where I would say Jake Ferg. This is where I would pick up my tight end. He's still gonna
Yeah,
be
he's
with
still
Dak,
there.
You know what I mean?
He's still there. Jake Ferg. You don't think the Schoon man takes over?
Nah,
Yeah, you don't.
but
Okay, we'll go Jake Ferg. I don't like that
oh
pick,
man,
Matt. I disagree.
man,
I wouldn't take Ramondre
hey
right there.
dude,
God, his
neither
value
would
should
I.
where does Ramondre fall now? Where do you feel
Oh
comfortable
man.
drafting him?
I don't know, but I wouldn't take him over guys I know who are gonna be like. I'm looking at. Well, look, I don't know. I
Now
don't
look
really
at
know
Jawan
what I'm talking
Jennings
about.
down here. Freaking Darnell Mooney. Oh man, points in your lineup.
Even Rashad White's down here still.
I like
And
I like Cedric Tillman, Matt.
yep, roll it, throw it on out. Look, Kraft man, we done went through 12 rounds. I think people really understand the gist of what we were trying to do in this exercise tonight. And look, throughout this draft, me and Kraft would still make picks with the intentions of either young or longevity, or we'd probably grab some with some value. That's where quarterbacks come in. Like you want to pick up your quarterbacks. We'd probably snag some lower tight ends down there too, type stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, Craft Man? Like, what are some other strategies like for the end? Like this draft right here would be 20 something rounds long. You know what I'm saying?
I would load up
So like,
on wide receivers. I kind of do
yeah,
that in dynasty leagues. Once I got my 3 quarterbacks, like I'm fine not even drafting another one. Maybe I get a speculative quarterback, a Shadur, or let's see some of these quarterbacks later on. Like maybe somebody you could throw in Daniel Jones. Like maybe he wins the job with the Colts or something. And I mean that's really the name that sticks out to me. Daniel Jones, Joe Mil, not Joe Milton, Jalen Milrow, I guess somebody like that. Tyler Shuck is down here. I would add him to my roster
right.
later on, but mostly from rounds like what round are we in here? 13. Shoot, I'd probably draft 8 more wide receivers.
Yeah. I mean, I would be looking at guys like I'm talking about even the rookies with that just got some draft capital that people ain't talking about, like Pat Bryant, got
Tesla.
yeah, what's some more? There's a bunch more guys. Noel, however you say it.
Yeah,
Houston
Jalen
got
Noel, yeah. Where's he at
way
down
down there.
here?
I'm 156. He's going like round whatever 14, 13, 14. Like we're talking about guys with some draft capital that are on some offenses that you could definitely gain value. Like dude, oh man, dude, heck, I'm
Terrence
so
Ferguson would be on my team.
Craftman in the 17th round. I picked up. I drafted Puka Nakua, and they just trade him for a first. You know what I'm saying? So you win some, you lose some.
Well,
But
I remember in not our league, but my other dynasty league, when Stroud, it was his first year. I took the shot on. I got Nico and Tank Dell like in the 15th round or wherever it was. Like Nico wasn't even a thing. So really, when I get down this late, I'm looking for good offenses that could like pan out, like a Jordan Whittington or somebody. You know, you got the Rams over there. He could end up being the number 3, and then Adams moves on. Like he could end up being your Puka. It's probably not going to happen, but I would rather take chances like that, drafting like the third or fourth guy on a good team rather than Christian Kirk or AD Mitchell. As long as
I
Richardson's
feel like
there,
he's a yeah. It's he's like one of those young guys still though. I would take a shot.
Jalen
I mean, heck, I just
Royals,
took him in that. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
would
yeah,
do
there's a
something
lot of
like
good
that.
names out there. A lot of good names out there for some young talent. Stack up on wide receivers. But I would take
Troy
shots on.
Franklin,
Heck, I mean, yeah, I was just about to say Marvin Mims' name.
yeah,
uh, all kinds of guys. Heck, even if you get real down low, even Tank Dell, I know he's gonna miss a whole year, but it's like, okay, a wide receiver will sit in your IR for a whole year. He's probably your 10th wide receiver too, anyways. You know what I'm saying? So just anything. I also want to add, this is don't even pertain to a punt. This could go for a rebuild, a punt. You're winning now. When you get way down there in them drafts, maybe the deep tight ends, even some backup quarterbacks. Because if those backup quarterbacks get to start, somebody might need a quarterback. You can sell it for a second round pick. That's just how you play Dynasty right there. Just gaining value. Something way down there, way super low, and you can flip it for something of value, even a third, if you're really deep in the woods like that. So, but
who's some who's some guys like that quarterback wise, like direct backups. We mentioned Daniel Jones, Sam Howell from Minnesota, Will Howard is down there with the Pittsburgh. Shoot, he might even start if they don't pick up
yeah,
another quarterback. So
yeah,
Mac Jones for San Fran.
yeah,
You might see him in a couple games.
yeah. A lot of good names out there with some sneaky value, and maybe you have to play them and win your championship with them. You never know. So, I mean, heck, we was
Joe
playing
Flacco.
Joe Flack. Heck, crap, man, we was playing Drew Lock uh, by the end of last year in one league, so or debating it anyways. Uh, but yeah, anything
Just
else you'd like to add to our mock draft, crap?
nah, I'm good. Just had to throw Joe Flacco in there because he's a champion.
uh, he is a champion, isn't he? It is funny because he really is a champion for you youngins who didn't know.
I saw
Well,
some rumors that Pittsburgh might be looking to go try to snag him, but he's with the Browns right now, so I'd have a hard time seeing a division mate trade one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played fantasy football.
yeah. Well, shoot, crap, man. I think that about wraps it up about our mock draft. That was just a little bit of strategy talk. I'll post the mock draft and the links below. But that was just a strategy, not a strategy that me and Craftman do all the time. I have done it recently, but drafting for the 1 year punt, and we'll do it. We'll come on here, and me and Craftman will chop it up like this again, and we'll do one. Heck, we'll even do one with a full rebuild one day, Craftman. Snag a real one. We'll really see how that one goes.
You got to
Yeah,
acquire picks. You remember that dude in FFPC? He got like 425 first or something like during the draft. He was trading I think he traded a first round pick for a 25 first. And of course, the dude who won the championship is the one who traded for that pick and ended up getting like JJ and Jamar Chase or some shit.
right.
Killed me.
Yeah, it is crazy how some of that man. We're gonna win that league this year. But all right, well, shoot, Craftman. That about sums it up. Listen, everybody, thank y'all for listening to the podcast. Check us out anywhere, Spotify, Apple, wherever. But as we always say, just share the show, man. Don't be a hoe. Share the show. Craftman, is there anything you'd like to add?
I'm good. I'm good. It's not usually the way I draft, but I enjoy doing that exercise because our team really didn't. It really didn't end up too bad. So might be something I
Nah,
think about in the future. Not very hard,
right.
but I think about it a little bit.
And the thing we say the most around here is if you do your startup drafts, just do what the fuck you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do, man. Hey, if you want to mix some old and some young and do it all, do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Go win, stay young. Hey, you can go win championships and stay young. You know what I'm saying? That's the ideal situation, Craft man. But, uh, thanks for listening to the podcast. But that about wraps it on up, man. So we out.
Peace.